welcome to my very loose weekend. I said to the missus this weekend I'm gonna eat pizza, drink and work on the WB. So as you can see behind me, I've got a very big box there. That's got the windscreen to the Bedford and the WB in there. Big thing is we're about half an hour into our trip home. Still got about another 2 hours of country roads to drive with glass sitting on the back of a ute. So pretty well packed. That box cost me 50 bucks. So we'll hit the road, we'll get home, we'll get the windscreen glued in today, and we'll hopefully get the engine together in the WB too this weekend. Don't know if we'll have it ready for start, but it'll be back together anyway. So let's get back in Buford and get on the road and get home. I'll put my drink down, I can't find it. So, you know I was talking about having that real loose weekend of pizza and fires and working on Woody. Apparently it's not going to be like that, because tonight we went out for dinner with a FIFO friend that's come back into town, and we came home, got the missus out here though, told her we're putting in the windscreen tonight, so we got that done. So it's actually looking pretty good. It's all sitting in place. Glue's tacking off nicely, nice thick bead on it. Got the little blocks down there for the space. That's looking pretty. And then tomorrow night, apparently, we're going to go out to someone's birthday for dinner. They're having food trucks with like pulled pork and shit like that, so probably not going to say no to that. But so for now, I thought, well, maybe I'll just come out now, see how far we get with the engine. Still got all tomorrow to do it, but maybe we can get a little bit put together. So I've been underneath my bed and I've pulled out all the engine bits I bought. Yes, I keep that stuff, like my wheels, inside the house, because out here, like, especially when I was doing the panel and paint stuff, there's dust and shit everywhere. It's not really a safe environment to leave stuff you're trying to look after. Like, fair enough, the engine is like the most hostile environment ever, but until it gets on that engine, it's quite delicate stuff mainly. So I put it all in my bedroom. So got the brand new Edelbrock 600. Got the new set of leads. I don't know what that is. New old stock distributor cap. There's some gaskets. Might be new old stock rotor button maybe. Oh, that's the other exhaust tip. And then out here, got the comp cam, and we've got the ProFlow new intake, which is the black one. Well, this looks quite sexy. Can't wait to get that on there. The factory fold, even though I painted that and had it all ready to go in an early video, like I said, my mate looked at it and says, no, that's fucked. So we got all that painted up, ready to go, but yeah, he said the like the housings there are a bit chewed out, so he said, no, I wouldn't be using that. So I was like, oh well. And also too, I don't like the idea of running those shitty adapters, because the Edelbrock's a square bore and that's a spread bore, of course. I don't like running those adapters, I think they're shit. So I can't see how the flow actually gets in and out. So So yeah, we'll just buy a square bore manifold, make life easier and a bit better. And we'll chuck that on there and make that work. So we'll pop the bonnet and turn on some music and try and get a little bit of something done tonight. Get the cam in, at least get the timing chain on, maybe get the timing cover back on. So see what happens. Don't make too much noise either. So at least we'll get something done. Now, following day, it was like the wheels are falling off my momentum a little bit. Come out here, can't really get the rest of my engine together. It's just the weather's shit house, cold. I actually was really thinking it was going to be sunshine. I was going to be pushing ute outside and prepping the tray and spray painting that. Getting the Raptor liner put on it. Can't do that, and that would have been a big job to have done. So I think we're just going to have to keep persevering with the smaller jobs. I can get the actual grill back in and still get the bumperettes on, try and get the stainless trim around the window. Had a little play of that last night. Now it turned into a bit of a shit fight actually, but it was late. Probably wasn't in the mood. But the engine's looking good. Not mind the actual the very factory look, going with a bit of a performance look there. So I mean, ideally, yeah, I'll paint this stuff up in Voodoo in blue or whatever blue is I mixed anyway. It's not actually Voodoo blue or whatever it is, or not even proper GMH blue. It's just a colour I sort of mixed up, but I thought was close. So I'll paint all these later on down the track. I mean, it would be nice to paint the block in there, but bugger it. It's still just going to be a running and driving car. It's not like I'm fully restoring it. I'm not doing a full rebuild. So, but the windscreen's set off nicely. So I'll dry it in good. I was just experimenting with a trim last night and the clips. Seeing how I get them to go on. It just got a real offset in the way they clip on, and I'm having a hard time getting them to slide on. Alright, we're going to have a go at trying to make a set of WB Statesman side mouldings work on a WB ute. Price wise, it's worth having a go. I mean, I picked up a really good set of WB Statesman ones for $400. To make it work though, I did experiment with the idea of using the rear door section of the WB Statesman, but it just wasn't going to look proper. I didn't like the idea of it. It was going to be a bit of a compromise, so I then went on to buy a couple of front door Statesman mouldings, so we actually get the correct profile sort of thing from the start of the door and more length to play with. I mean, we're cutting a fair bit out to make them join together, but we've got plenty to play with and you can dictate your own length, and we get the nice ends each end sort of thing. So I'll show you what we're up to and what we're doing. I've had a few practice welds because it's very thin stainless, and there's many ways we could probably go about this, but it comes down to how fussy you are, I guess. I was trying to aim for a fairly seamless look, joining the plastics back together again doesn't bother me. Like, that's just glue and a bit of sanding and a bit of paint and that sort of thing. It's more about the stainless trim, and even though you're probably visibly only seeing about 5 to 7 mil of stainless trim, it's still going to be enough. If you look up the side, you'll see a little bit of a join line sort of thing. So I sort of thought, let's just give it a go, add a bit of strength to it as well, and we'll just see what we can achieve. But after a few experiments, we've even doing spot welds and trying to fill the gaps of solder and things like that. I still think solder would probably be worth having a bit more of a go at. With the technique I'm about to show you now, you might be able to fill in the actual join line of solder and file that down nice and smooth, because apparently I heard a lot of trim blokes do that. For me, I'm just going to TIG it and just grind it back a little bit and just make it look okay. I'm not going to maybe go silly so it's seamless. Like I said, there's not much shown. I just want to add strength and not have a visible join line where people can see it. So this is what we're doing. So we've got our front door section here. If you haven't seen them before, that's all it is. Like, you think it's a big thick bit of rubber, but technically it's that thin little arch on the moulding. And I've peeled this off. They do come apart fairly easy, especially after the years. I peeled it off up to about that far sort of thing, because no point upsetting this bit right now. Might as well just leave that. The other bit I should have done the same, but I got a little bit carried away, and we've got to glue that back together again and fill that bit of a joint in, because that is naturally a bit of a butt joint there. But what we're doing is I've actually got both these ends cleaned up, filed inside and out of the both long bits. I've then taken another scrap piece, which is good for the rear doors, having practice sessions and all that on those, and I've cut these joiners out. So the idea is we push the joiners up inside and create a bit of an overlap, and then we slide the other piece over it. So maybe as long as possible. That's a bit longer than the test piece I've been doing before, but I'd even say you could probably go another inch or two longer than that. It'd probably be better. But I'm running out of pieces to use, because this part's actually quite munted. It's a little bit flattened. And I've been doing so many practice welds, as you can see, some of them haven't been good. So, and this is where we've got to. So I'll butt this together, I'll show you that, and we'll try and get in there and TIG. Just comes to one of those points. I'm one of these people that like to jump in and start swimming and see how we go. I've unusually done a few practice goes at trying to figure it out, but then after I've had maybe 2 successful-ish goes, I've just thought, you know what, fuck it, let's get into it, grab a piece I need. I'll hopefully be a lot more slower and careful with those because the pressure's on. So yes, whatever it is, we're just going to make it work anyway now. So I'll show you what we're doing. pretty happy with that. I could live with that because it's only going to be something you've got to really look for to find it. And like I said, I wasn't going to go for invisible because I knew I was probably going to fuck it up pretty much. But, I mean, there's the weld. Once you drop that trim back down on top of it, the weld's going through here. So a little bit of a dent. Considering it's like 2 metre piece of strip, you're gonna have to go looking for that to see it, which is sort of what I was hoping. I just didn't want to see the black line joins because that will catch your eye, but if it's all sort of polished up and a bit more silvery, like a bit of a polish on it, you're probably not going to even really notice that. So that's a bit of a win. Cheering. I had a little bit of a go at fitting the side mouldings onto the rear guard just to dummy fit it really. It's not going too bad, so I'll show you what we've been doing. Just got this one sitting on there roughly for now, so I just wanted to make sure when I get him in place actually is going to line up. Now this first section here was the actual another Statesman front door section, so this section here is actually the same as the first half of this strip, so it sort of gives that bit of a beveled edge there, which sort of works with the actual angle of that. So I decided to go with another front door section. And then we just use a Statesman rear section, rear quarter section, from this point back to the back, which has that nice end to it. I could have brought this more to factory back here sort of thing, but I had like a little bit of a paint line there from when I did the respray over top of the guards because I wasn't happy with it. So I just want to cover that up as much as possible, and it does stick out a little bit, and I could probably just rubber hammer that down and that'd actually be okay. I don't know if I'll fuss that much. The other thing we're doing is I'm actually just ignoring all the factory holes, and I've gone and bought myself a little 3mm stainless steel nut and bolt sort of thing, and I've just been drilling straight through and using them to hold the actual trim on instead of using the clips, because I'm using Statesman section and a front door section. The holes aren't really lining up. Without bugging around trying to make those clips all go back in and work, I'd rather just nut and bolt them. So the plan is we'll get this strip in place, which this one is now. I will rebuild these little sections here with some plastic and file it down to make it look joined again on both top and bottom. The trims, you can see that just sits up a little bit. That's because of that bolt head. I could just grind out the backs of those and let it slip over, so that's not a problem. So that's what we're doing right now. So we'll actually videotape me doing the other side so you can actually see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Big thing is while I'm having it outside, so I could actually go and stand back and actually look at the side profile and make sure it all looks straight. And also just keeping in mind these centers here should be in line with the actual holes, the factory ones, so it keeps on the same path. So there is a bloke that actually reproduces these rubbers in particular in the ute style, and I have actually messaged him. I've only got 2 moulds fitted at the moment and painted. I mean, I actually like the statesman texture. Like, I think it just adds a little something different to my car. So I'm not afraid to have that, but I'm sort of thinking for cleanliness and simplicity, buying new WB ute rubbers and just sticking them onto my trims will actually be just clean, smooth and nice. So, and for money's asking, it's not silly money, so that's why I'm sort of sending him a message. We'll see what he says. He might have already, he only had one left. He might have sold them. So we'll get the video on. We'll show you how we're gonna fit the other side and go from there. So let's get into it. Sort of as easy as that. I like how, especially that section, it's Frankensteined. The shapes aren't technically designed to, for going from statesman's, and the front doors and all that aren't really designed to sit on the rear guards. So that nut and bolt approach, I think, is about the only option you have if you're going to do it. But that seems to work really good. So it sits nice and straight, which is why I sort of put the ute outside, so I can actually visually stand back and look at it, as well as looking at where the holes are coming through on the inside. That's all looking pretty good. And you can sort of see why I was hammering with my fist. Just take that curve a little bit more aggressively at the back. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. So, the gap all along, it's pulled in nice and tight. There's the joint there, you can sort of barely see. The plastic is held up quite well there, so. But yeah, even I've got this last one. It's actually pulled that into a point where that probably doesn't even need that clip put in, so we'll still put it in anyway. Yeah, so I don't even know if I need to worry about these bits underneath here. I don't think no one's ever going to see that. If that's the case, I could just about leave these strips on now. I could tape off and fill that up with some black plastic glue and just sand it down gently. Fill those in quite nice. Like I said, if that's the case, they can pretty much stay on now. I think that's pretty much going to do us for now. Actually achieved a little bit this weekend, probably not as much as what I originally thought was going to, but the things we have achieved have been big things we need to try and get done. So we'll go for a walk around, we'll show you. So we've got our bumperettes on. Just chuck the tailgate on. Let's fuck that tailgate. There's one of these Chinese ones, and it had a dent in the centre. It's so tinny. I start pulling the dent out a bit and then it just tin canned, it just turned to shit. So there's a bloke in Maryborough that sells the skins. I'm going to keep the tailgate in and all that. I'll just reskin it with Volmate's better quality skin. As you know, we've gone alright with our mounting of the trim. Haven't really achieved nothing of that, that's just stuck on there so I can make sure my levels are good. Windscreen's in, wipers are on. Trim sits a bit funny. I mean, it wasn't great, like it was actually Sikaflex down, so the trim's probably bent. Might just squirt a bit of Sikaflex up behind. Chuck the grill in, just for now, to keep it out of my way. Engine's only cosmetically put together. There's not really much else going on with that yet. Waiting on that bottom seal for the timing cover to turn up, which I've ordered now. And then we can get that on. I'll go through and make sure the timing's all correct on everything first. And then we can start putting all the intake cover on. But that's all going pretty good. I don't think there's been a great deal else, has there? Feels like I've achieved a lot. Painted all these things with the rust converter sealer, just to give them a good soaking inside and out. Done the actual frames as well, so they're pretty much ready to go. Need to clean out the tray so I can just keep spraying the rest of it. And then once that's done, we can start to wrap the line in here. But yeah, getting there bit by bit. Thanks for watching. It's been a good little run on the WB. We'll keep you up to date as to what keeps going on with it, and more videos to come. Thanks for watching.